Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tune Quest. If you're like me and you saw the recent FKJ drop, I was like, oh my god, I'm so happy. I love anything that FKJ puts out on the piano. It's honestly so beautiful. So we got Moments Part 2, and I'm going to teach you how to play it in this video, and I'm going to try to simplify it as much as I can so that you can really grasp it and just be able to play it, okay? So let's take a look at the first two chords, right? The first two chords are... The first chord is E flat major 7. Alright, so you've got an E flat major triad, and you've got the major 7th extension, right? And then that goes down to a B flat major 7. Beautiful. This is just such a timeless, beautiful progression, okay? The key, this is called just a 1-4 progression, where you've got the 1, the root chord, and it goes up to the 4. And you just play them as major 7th chords. It's just always gonna sound good. And that's why this has that beautiful, just like comforting feeling, right? Feels like moments going by. Beautiful moments. You know what I mean? The sun is shining. Okay, so those are the chords. And by the way, it's always nice to play these like 7th chords in both hands. So you can just create them in both hands, right? In fact, just playing it like this is already beautiful, and you're already getting a sense of the tune, okay? So let's take a look at the melody now. So we can just like hold these chords in the left hand while the right hand plays the melody, okay? So the melody goes like this. You know what that is? That is literally just the chord, the E flat major 7 chord played like this. Root, 3rd, 7th, 5th. It's really that easy. So that's why I said learn the shape in both hands, because once you have the shape, once that is literally on the piano and on the keys, you're just pressing buttons. You're pressing the root, the 3rd, the 5th, and then the 7th, right? Maybe you could play that left hand again to get a sense of the rhythm. And then when we go to the B flat major chord, the melody goes like this. Oh my god, that's so simple, so beautiful. So we're playing A, D, D in the context of the B flat major chord. That's the 7th, 7th, and then the 3rd. So this is what we have. Right, so you can kind of pulse the left hand a little bit. If you want a stronger sense of the rhythm, what we can do is we can use an arpeggio pattern, okay? And the arpeggio pattern that we can use is this root 5, octave 5, root 5, octave 5. But since we want a sense of the 7th in the chord, we can just lower that thumb a half step the next 2 times to catch that 7th. And then we can do the same thing on the B flat. See that? The thumb goes down a half step. And that way we get a sense of the 7th chord in the left hand while we play the arpeggio, and we get a sense of the rhythm as well. Please excuse me while I drink my tea. Okay, so with the melody and that arpeggio pattern, it would look like this. Absolutely beautiful. Now, as for the right hand, what FKJ is actually playing here is he's playing octaves to turn this melody into something that glitters, if you will. Okay, it just when you play melodies as octaves in the right hand, it makes it highlights it, right? Because you're playing a unison. Okay. Right? It just sounds so beautiful because we're catching a higher register. Okay, so that's what it sounds like with the octave, right? And by the way, this is a really great opportunity to actually practice your octaves. If the octave technique is not something that you've developed in your right hand yet, because it's not typical to play like octaves in the right hand. It's way more typical to play them in the left hand. So if it's a little bit less developed in the right hand, this would be a great opportunity to practice it, right? That's why I call it Tune Quest, because tunes are like quests. And when you take a new quest in a video game, you gain XP from that quest. So this could be some of the XP that you gain. Right? Just like getting that octave shape in the right hand, so that whenever you sit at the piano, you can just instantly play octaves. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a really great and very versatile technique to have. Okay, and then it progresses to the next set of chords, which goes from our B flat major 7 chord up to a C minor 7 chord. Okay, so you've got a C minor triad with the minor 7th extension, which is B flat. Right? Again, it's good to do this in both hands, just to like learn and practice these chords again as some more XP that you can gain. And then it goes up a whole step to play the minor 7th chord on D. So now we have a D minor 7, D minor triad with a minor 7th extension. And then what he does here is he does this kind of half step walk down, okay, where he plays exactly the same shape in the same chord, the minor 7th chord. So he takes everything down a half step chromatically to C sharp minor 7. It's the same chord, just on a C sharp minor 7. Back to our C minor 7. And then he goes to this. This kind of thing. Okay, let me just play the chord. He goes to an F dominant chord. So in the left hand, an octave is good there. In the right hand, we've got the 3rd, which is A, the 5th, which is C, the dominant 7th, which is E flat, and the pinky on A. So that's actually an octave on the A, on the right hand. And in very typical FKJ fashion, he does this a lot. He kind of just like, he just kind of like glitters it, you know what I mean? And then he also kind of catches this note here. This. What is that? That's called a flat 9, okay? Don't worry too much about that. Just realize that the 4th finger here is playing an F sharp, if you can manage that. And you can kind of add that into the glittering effect. Okay, so we've got C minor 7 going up to D minor 7, walking back to C minor 7, ending on that F dominant thing, which then beautifully goes back to our A section. Okay, now let's take a look at the melody in the B section. It's actually really simple. It's very, very similar to the melody we've already got. So on our C minor 7 chord, we've got the same melody essentially. Why does that work? Well, because the melody again highlights this E flat major 7 chord, which by the way is starting on the 3rd of our C minor 7 chord. See that? So that's why it works, okay? And then on the D minor 7 chord, the melody goes like this. So it's exactly the same idea on D, where we play the D minor triad, the root of D, the 3rd of D, the 7th, and then the 5th, okay? And then you can go down to this and arpeggiate that up if you can. Okay, now as for the left hand, if we want to create that sense of arpeggio, again we can do the same thing where you play the root 5, octave 5, root 5, octave 5, and then come down and play the 7th. Same thing on D. To walk down, we can play the chord. we could play a low octave for that F, just for some dramatic effect or something. Okay, so let me play that to you. And then next time through, I mean, you can kind of come up with your own arrangement if you want to. So maybe you've gone through it once, and then the next time through you can hold the chords. Maybe play super low octaves. Check this out. Oh, that's low. You can really do whatever you want. Okay, this is not a video on how to play in the style of FKJ, although I can make that video if you're interested. I love FKJ. I love his playing. I love his music. He's actually... He's really good at the piano, don't get me wrong, but he's not like a virtuoso, you know, one of the best in the world. But you know what? It doesn't matter, because he has a distinct style and sound and touch on the piano, that's what we're really aiming for. If you're interested in becoming like an original artist on the piano and music, you're not aiming for like technical mastery and virtuosity. Like, yeah, sure, maybe you are, but actually I'd say a higher ideal to strive towards is actually a sense of your own original voice. And that's what FKJ has. You can instantly recognize his piano playing, right? And that's because he's got certain things that he does every time. Like, for example, he does that quite often. There are a whole bunch of other things, but I may as well finish this video to show you one little thing he does quite often. So let's say we've got this major 7th chord here. Something he does is he does this little chromatic slide down to the major 7th from the 9. That thing, right? Okay, so we're coming from the 9th extension, or rather the 2nd. So the root is E flat, so you go up a whole step, and he's walking down chromatically to the 7th. And he does the same thing on the B flat major 7th, right? So take the B, go up a whole step, and then walk down chromatically. it's just beautiful. By the way, if you know Zelda, the title theme from Zelda has this exact little movement, so that's where you might recognize it from. It's in a whole bunch of other places, but I reckon that's one of the most distinctive, the title theme by Koji Kondo, if you know Zelda. But that's essentially how you play Moments Part 2 by FKJ. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I had a lot of fun teaching it just now. That was great. I feel so calm right now. I feel so at peace. So hopefully you do as well, and you can create that feeling. It's actually a bit of a meditation. I would describe this as meditative piano. And I just love playing in this style. So if you're interested, I have an online community called Keyboard Wizardry, where I'm interested in helping myself and helping other people become wizards on the keys in whatever way that means to them, you know, just making magic, feeling like you can be creative and expressive on the keys, and like tapping into the full potential of the keyboard. And it's actually free to join now. I'm building out some cool resources there, so if you're interested in joining the online community, check out the top link. And that's it for this one. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time we have a mythic FKJ drop. All right, peace.